We're really excited to get going on this session, and it's 4 o'clock, and we love to get started on time. So, first of all, thank you all for joining us today. We hope you're all safe, you're at home, and we hope that all of you are healthy. Today, we're talking about something that's very, very important because a lot of us are facing this issue. We're facing an issue about our careers, our jobs, a little bit of uncertainty. So, we wanted to do this session on how to ace the interview. We're going to talk about etiquette, tips and tricks, and answers to those tricky questions. We've got with us none other than Coach Shivani, who's an image, etiquette, soft skills, and corporate trainer. I know a lot of you must be following her because her Instagram following is just, my God, I would say blowing up. Is that the right word we use? Blowing up. So, but the interview process has also changed a lot. And in the pandemic, it can also be very difficult. In this session, we're going to really guide you through what to expect, how to really think about etiquette and grooming, tips and tools, and how to answer those tricky interview questions. Like I said, in less than a year, over 1 lakh people have started following Coach Shivani because she gives a lot of very practical and very sound advice on career, behavior, social, and image skills. By profession, she's an image consultant, an etiquette coach, and a soft skills trainer. She's enthusiastic about making you look, feel, speak, and behave well. She encourages and helps her clients to reflect a charismatic persona, confident mind, and strong leadership quality, both personally and professionally. So, Coach Shivani, welcome to Sipping Thoughts. We're excited to have you here.
Thank you so much, Sukriti, and I'm glad and I'm humbled to be on this platform. And I've been following Sipping Thoughts since long, and it's my pleasure to come here and talk to each one of you. And I just hope that I can add value and I can just, you know, people should take away something from this session.
So, Shivani, I'm going to come back to this question because it wowed me. Your Instagram account is just blowing up. Tell us what has been the secret to your success because I'm sure a lot of people want to know because we're curious minds.
Yes, Sukriti. So let me just tell you how did it all started. So last year I didn't have any idea how to make an Instagram account also. So I asked, and it was lockdown, so I was getting bored. So my sister asked me just that you join Instagram. It's really nice. You follow some influencers and stuff like that. So I asked her to make my account because actually didn't know how to make an account also on Instagram, and I didn't know how to post, how to share stories. I had no idea. I was clueless. So my sister made an account and I started following certain influencers, but I was looking for some content, on Instagram, which I found lacking. So I thought of creating that content on my page. So whatever question I had in my mind, I used to create a content. I used to search about it, and I started creating content. And then how it started, and people started loving my content. They started sharing my content. They started saving my content. So recently, my one of my posts recently has approximately 59,000 saves and 12,000 shares, and that post has reached to 7 lakh people. So this is how it all exploded, and I'm so humbled. I'm so grateful to my audience because it is a dream for me as well. And definitely I'm a person who is a strong believer of law of attraction and affirmation and manifestation. So deep down I always manifested, and I was very affirmed that I will cross 10K by April 2021. And I didn't realize that it exploded to 100K by April 2021. So it was an honor for me as well.
Well, that's fantastic. So, Shivani, we want to ask you this question because you get a lot of questions and I see a lot of engagement. So, what is that most important and burning question that job seekers, interview people, what are they asking you today?
Okay, so the job seekers, interview people, basically they firstly everybody is very paranoid, and because they're not getting job because the market is it is low right now. However, Sukriti, what I feel is that we are being in rush right now because people are getting very desperate to join anything or everything that comes in their way. So this is one problem that everybody's facing, that they're not able to find a right job as per their skill right now.
Very
So
good.
this is
No, I
how.
totally agree with that. So I'm excited to hear what you have to share, and I would love to hand over the session to you. And guys, like I said, we're going to be taking lots and lots of questions. So please keep chatting with us. Please put it in the chat box. We have ample time with Shivani to take your questions too. Go ahead, Shivani.
Okay, so Kriti, so let's start with the presentation. Just a moment. I hope I'm able to share my screen.
We're not seeing it right now. Just
Okay, just a moment. Am I
perfect.
able
Perfect.
to?
Yes.
Done? Okay.
Yeah.
So let's start how to
Shivani, if
ace
you
your
just want to
virtual
put it in slideshow mode.
Sure, Sukriti, let me just check if I'm able to. I'm not able to find that option, Sukriti, right now.
Right
I'm
at
not
the
able to.
bottom. Otherwise, it's okay.
Sorry,
Not a problem.
I am not able to find that. I'm comfortable with it. I can go
Perfect.
like this. I hope that you are able to see.
We are. Go for it.
Fine. So let's start. How to ace your virtual interview. This is the need of the hour because the entire scenario is changed. The world is changed, and this is the new world that we are living in right now. And whatever we are doing also, it is also virtual. So realize the importance of this is virtual reality, what we are facing right now, an oxymoron that has come into existence now. So how to ace your virtual interview. So there was a survey by Gartner HR. Survey shows that 86% of organizations are conducting virtual interviews to hire candidates during this coronavirus pandemic. And I will say that 90% must be doing that, but this is a survey that has come out, and I have just put across because this was the data that I could find on Google. However, as per my knowledge, I think that 99% of organizations are conducting virtual interviews right now across the globe. So, what are the objectives of this session? So, the objectives of this session are that you will be, after the completion of the session, you will be able to express yourself better in virtual interviews. You'll be able to perform better in virtual interviews. You'll be able to detect correct and incorrect verbal and visual impressions that you put across, and you'll be able to illustrate yourself in a better way. Now, whenever we start searching for a job, what is the first thing we need to do is to make an appropriate resume. Why? Because resume is your marketing tool. Resume creates your first impression. Resume is one thing that can open or close an opportunity for you. So understand and realize the importance of resume. So here I'll give you some few tips which we all are aware of. However, at times we just oversee these things. So these are few tips. Number one is that always try using a professional email ID. Never use email ID is like, cutie underscore sweetie at the rate 005 gmail.com, you know. So always whenever you're making a resume, no matter whatever personal email ID you're using for your inbox, but when it's coming on your resume, it should be professional. So please keep this in mind because as soon as you put your email ID, the other person judge you whether how much serious you are for this job and the job that you're applying for and for your career. Then after that, make sure that your contact information is up to date. So Sakriti, this is something that I have experienced, and to everybody that I've experienced in person. I have recruited more than 500 people till now, and there were few resumes. People just used to come, walk in for an interview, and they just used to say that we were in a hurry, or our resume is in our hometown, or we are not able to take a printout. And if they get a resume, that resume was in their bag from a long time, and they just take out and they just start scribbling the information. They'll just start scribbling and writing down the updated email ID or a phone number, which is not acceptable. Number one. And number two, why your information should be up to date, because at times when an employer is calling you or trying to contact you, please make sure that whichever number is there that you have mentioned in your resume should be under the network area. At times what happens when an employer is trying to reach you and you're not, under the network area, or you're not reachable, then you might lose an opportunity. So this is very, very important. Apart from that, whenever you are creating a resume, keep a professional font, and the size of the font should be 10 to 12 points. Please don't make it artistic. Please don't make it, all italics or all bold or all underlined. I would suggest there's no harm making a creative resume, but it should be a readable resume. This is what I meant here. Apart from that, whenever you are making resume and writing your experience, always write it in reverse chronological order. That is, the recent experience first, followed by the later experience. And one thing, that if you have experience of 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, please mention only 10 years. There's no point, and there's no need to mention 25 years of experience or 15 years of experience. 10 years of experience is good enough for Indian jobs as well as international jobs. They just see your last 10 experience. Then whenever you're writing a resume, please keep it left aligned. People do centrally aligned, they make a central alignment, or they make, they disalign at times the resume. So your resume should be aligned left. Why? Because that looks more neat and that looks more presentable. This is one thing. And whenever you're putting subheading, please just put simple subheading, like your summary, your work experience, your educational qualification. That's it. Some people try to make it artistic, and they try to, create irrelevant subheadings, which is not required. And apart from that, if you have a social media presence, if you're a blogger, you have a personal blog, if you have any website, do mention that in your resume, because now is the time. Virtual, this is the time where you are getting a chance to build your personal brand, where you're getting a chance to show what extra you have in you. So, a person who will be having his or her personal blog and will be mentioning in the resume have more chances to get selected rather than person who has a normal resume. So this is a time everybody is trying to build up their personal brand, no matter it's a student or a professional or a freelancer, because that shows your skills, that shows that how confident you are in your work and presenting yourself. And few pointers that are not mentioned here are that please make sure that your resume is not more than 2 pages. There is no point making resume of 3 pages, 4 pages, 5 pages, or 6 pages, because employer doesn't has time to go through your entire resume. They want a crisp, short resume, because it is just a glimpse of your profile, of your hard skills, of your soft skills, and it is just a tool to shortlist you for further steps. If a resume is too long, nobody has time to just flip on the pages. So you might lose an opportunity if your resume is too long. You thinking that you might gain an opportunity, but you will lose an opportunity. So these are some resume tips. And apart from that, there is no need to write your family history. There is no need to write your hobbies. It is not required. And there is no need to write reference on request. That's not needed. At times nowadays, the employer give you a job application form, and over there the reference is written. You can write reference there. So these are some resume tips. Yes.
Yeah, quick question that's coming up. A lot of the organizations also use a lot of AI algorithms when they're reading,
Yes.
your resume. Any tips to make sure that it is what I would say AI friendly?
Yes, I was just about to say that since it's a virtual world, please make sure that your resume is in PDF format. Never send it in Word format, number one. Number two, please make sure that your resume is portable and is openable in each and every device and in each and every application and software. This is much needed, because at times you send your resume, and please make sure that the other person is not able to edit your resume. So make sure that you're sending it in PDF profile. And please, whenever you're sending a resume or making a resume, please make sure that you're opening it in each and every application or advice that is in your phone, or else you can borrow your friend's phone or any family member phone, and please open your resume once. So it has happened that, you know, people send resume, and at times it is, and whenever you open a resume, either it is not aligned properly, or either there's a lot of gap, or either, you know, you're not able to read it. So this is very important. And apart from that, one more thing, that we at times we send our resume and we write that please find the attached resume, and we forget to attach our resume, right? So this is one mistake we often do. What you can do is first attach your resume and then write the content in the mail. Because, you know, in hurry or in excitement, or, you know, when we are overjoyed, wow, I need to send resume here, we forget to attach the resume, and then you cannot just, you know, send them an email again that please ignore the previous mail. That doesn't look professional. So
No,
please.
totally agree with you because I've done that. And please, I will also say one tip from my side, don't use any special fonts that need to be downloaded or anything. Stick to the basics because you'll find they don't come across in many of the other applications.
Exactly. So this is one thing, that these are some tips that I would give to each and everyone here, that please, if you want to take a screenshot of it, you can take a screenshot of it.
Could you try Control L? A lot of people are asking if you can put it in slideshow mode, that will make it easier for them to take.
I
Or
let's
it's on your left-hand corner, the slideshow icon.
I would have
See
done
the
that.
third. It's not happening.
It's not happening from my
Oh,
end. I
no
would,
worries. We
there is a one icon here. Let me just try if it,
The third one on the left bottom. Ah, perfect. Awesome.
yeah, it worked.
Great.
Now after that, so your resume is ready. Now comes the time when you're hunting a job. So how do you hunt a job? So Sukriti, the thing that is happening right now, and people and everybody out here, because some people have lost their job due to pandemic, because business are shut, because the market is really low, so people just open naukri.com. They keep on applying, which is incorrect. And when you'll apply to 10 jobs randomly, right, which is not appropriate as per your skill set, obviously 6 will reject you. And when 6 employer will reject you, this will demotivate you, and further you won't be applying jobs. So this is very important, that before you start applying a job, please make sure that you know your skill set and you know which job you're applying for. Apart from that, whenever you're applying a job, set up your workplace. Whenever you're applying a job, sit in a quiet place, analyze the job description, see the job description, see whether the job description is matching your profile or not. Just don't sit with your friends or your family or anywhere and just randomly start applying the job, because that time your mind is diverted. So it's very important that whenever you are applying for a job, please set a workplace for yourself. Okay, and sit at a particular place where you have your stationery, where you have your notepad, everything ready, and then you're sitting and applying for a job. You'll be more mindful. Okay, apart from that, please stay informed. Please keep your alert on, naukri.com alert on, LinkedIn alert on, Glassdoor alert on, that as soon as you get an alert on your phone, you're able to apply for a job. So this is very important, that at times we apply for a job that was posted 10 days back. Okay, and probably the employer has hired someone, then there is no use. Please keep in touch with the consultants, okay, that helped you in getting a job, or that those who are helping you. Apart from that, know who's hiring right now. Please make sure that you are always on your toes when it comes to industry, and you're knowing that who's hiring right now. So who's hiring right now, I give you a quick tip for that. You go on LinkedIn, you go on the search bar, and you type there hiring now, and then go on people, and then you get list of companies that are hiring right now. You know, you can type your skill as well, so it'll be more, it'll filter out more, and you'll get your exact job that you're looking forward for. Then this thing is something people are ignoring, but I would like to emphasize that please build your LinkedIn profile, improve your LinkedIn profile, and please be active on your LinkedIn. LinkedIn is one tool today which can get you not only national but international job as well. So LinkedIn is very, very important, and it is the need of the hour today. And being very honest to you, before Instagram, I was just active on LinkedIn. And I got so many projects, I got so many opportunities just through LinkedIn, not only national, but international as well. So LinkedIn has the power. Then please practice before sitting for a virtual interview. Virtual interview is not like face to face interview. In face to face interview, you can mold something at a moment. In virtual interview, it is you and the employer is judging each and everything, not just the way you're speaking, but your background, people who are around you, what noises that employer can hear, how are you dressed up. So these are very small and basic thing, because at that moment of time, you're not sitting in their office, you're sitting in your comfortable place, and the employer wants to know how serious you were for this job. Did you select a place to sit and give an interview? Apart from that, one thing that I would like to recommend to each one of you right now is network, network, network. You should know art of networking, you should know art of conversation, you should know art of communication. This is one thing that can get you anything that you are dreaming right now for. So networking is very important. Please don't hesitate to approach anyone. Please don't hesitate in connecting with anyone. So it is also an art. So you should know this art, and I train for this art as well. That what is art of conversation? What is an art of connecting with people? How do you connect with people, and what is the right time to tell or come across your point that you want to tell to the other person? It is very important. Then, if you don't have anything right now, please build on your hard skills. You can go for online courses, you can go for workshops, you can go for any scholarship, anything that comes across your way. So during this pandemic, I myself have done approximately 10 online courses, and I've built my hard skills and I've launched those courses. And I feel so confident about myself now. And there are still 3 courses that are in pipeline. I'm still doing it, and this has actually added value in my profile, in my knowledge. And now when I go to conference or when I give seminars, I have a skill set better than, where I can say that yes, I'm better than this person because I've done this. So please stand out, do something to stand out. Then keep applying for jobs. It's not that we've applied for 10 jobs and you're not getting any result, that you won't apply for 11th. Please keep applying. The market is low. There are less opportunities. However, whenever a right opportunity will come to you, you will be hired. So please don't get demotivated. Don't get, that nothing is happening. No employer is shortlisting me. What is wrong in my profile? What is right? You keep on applying and keep working on your skills as well. And apart from that, please be patient. Everything takes time. Every process takes time. When an employer is hiring you, even employer today is seeking for 100 things from their employees. So please be patient and please wait for the right time to come. So these are certain tips that you should know while you're searching for a job during pandemic. Now, how do you succeed for a virtual interview? First and foremost, please know the software, test your technology beforehand. Why? Because at times this can be a blunder for you or a blooper for you, that you are okay with everything and you're okay and ready with your interview and you're all dressed up, and when it is coming to software, you don't know how to operate the software. So there's a lot of medium through which employer are taking interviews right now, like Zoom, Microsoft Teams, Google Meet. So please be aware of all the software that are trending right now. This is very, very important. Then apart from that, please wear a professional attire. This is so, so important, and people are neglecting this. Why? Because when you wear a professional attire, that means you respect yourself, you respect the person who is interviewing you, and you respect this position and the designation that you're applying for. Few tips I would like to give here is that please keep your background clean. It should not be that you're sitting on a bed and giving an interview. It should not that there's a chair, that there's a bed behind, and all your quills or your clothes are lying on the bed. Okay, so please make sure that your background is neat and clean, number one. Number two, make sure that you are properly dressed up. Make sure that you're wearing a jacket, because the moment you wear a jacket, you increase the formality of interview and you increase your formality as well. So please wear a jacket. Avoid wearing, u-neck, or avoid wearing round neck. Always try to wear a collar. A collar has a more authority, and a collar is more authoritative than a round neck. Try to wear colors like blue, charcoal gray, and ivory white, any neutral colors. Please avoid wearing some distracting colors or distracting prints. And please make sure that whenever you're wearing something, your background and the clothes that you're wearing should not blend, they should stand out. This is very important. And you should take care of your hair, that your hair are either tied up and not falling on your face again and again. You should take care of your, very important is your body language, that when you're talking to an employer, please make sure that you are using appropriate body language, that you're smiling, you're nodding your head, and you're giving them some gestures. Your facial expressions should show that you are interested and you're engaged in the conversation. Then limit distraction. This is one thing. Now, distraction can be anything. That right now I tell you that I am just giving this presentation and my son woke up and it started walking right now in front of me. And I was clueless what to do. I cannot even stand. I'm telling you right now, it happened with me. And I was going, just go away, go away, go away. So, this was a distraction. And it happened all of a sudden. I made him sleep. However, he just woke up listening to my voice. So please make sure that this doesn't happen when you're preparing for an interview. So these are certain things that whatever I've written here is something that is coming out of personal experience, and it's not something that I'm telling you out of Google or YouTube. So this is personal experience. As an employer, I have hired many people. As an employee, I've given many interviews. Then prepare yourself in advance. Even if it is an interview for 1 minute also, please prepare yourself. Never be overconfident. Never think, oh my God, I know this, I know this, I know that. I am giving presentations since a decade now. But whenever there's a presentation, I still have butterflies in my stomach. I still prepare myself, because you may never know what kind of audience you'll be facing. You may never know what kind of employer you'll be facing, and one faux pas can destroy everything. Then build rapport with an employer. Now, building rapport doesn't mean that you'll become friendly with an employer. Building rapport means that please talk anything that makes sense. Please talk that is of interest of the company and the employer. Please talk something. You should not talk, actually, you should communicate with an employer. What is the difference between talking and communicating? Talking is that you're talking anything that is coming out of your mouth. Communicating is when you transform your thoughts and words into action. So to build a rapport, you need to communicate with the other person. Then please use professional body language. Professional body language is that you're sitting straight, your spine is straight, your chin is up, your shoulders are back, you have a smile on your face, and you're doing a direct eye contact with an employee. Avoid slouching your shoulders, putting hands on your face like this, sitting like this, okay, crossing your arms. This is a negative body language which you shouldn't do. Please make sure these are very small things, but they give impactful messages. Apart from that, please be authentic. Please be yourself. Please be who you are. Never lie and never fake whenever you're giving an interview. Because you can clear one round, you can clear the interview also, but then survival in that organization will be really tough for you. Okay, so please be authentic and please follow up with the employer. Now, follow up doesn't mean that you've given an interview today and you'll start calling from tomorrow. Wait for 48 hours and give a gentle reminder to them. If they revert, all right. If they don't revert, then again wait for 48 hours, next 48 hours. Give them a reminder again. Give 3 mail reminders on email. If they're not reverting you back, if they're not reverting you, then you call them that, hi, I came up for an interview for this is profiling position. I just wanted to know that am I being shortlisted or not, and whatever their opinion is, whether good or bad, whether you're selected or you aren't selected, you have a right to ask the employer, and employer needs to tell you whether you are shortlisted or you aren't shortlisted. Right? And if you're not shortlisted, don't get discouraged, don't get disheartened. You can always say that thank you so much for, always thank them. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity. However, whenever you think that I'm right for this position, you already have my contact number. Please do contact me back. Even if you're not shortlisted, please be kind enough to thank them to give you this opportunity. So these are certain tips that how you can succeed in a virtual interview. Now, as I told you, some video interview tips, I told you that whenever you're preparing for an interview, always prepare that you are like you're visiting there and it is an in-person interview. That means that you're dressed up, you're there on time, you're checking everything. It's not at last moment you're logging in. You will log in 5 minutes prior. You will keep all your things, you will keep all your documents beside you. I am saying the reason why, because at times the employer might ask you certain things which you don't remember, you are not able to recollect or revisit. You should have your documents along with you so that you can just check and tell the employer. What are the documents you should keep whenever you're preparing for an interview? One is your updated resume. Second, keep your education qualification certificates, and you can keep your experience letters as well, or any course that you've done. Then please make a setup for your shoot. Like, this will be my background, I'll be sitting here, this is where my light will come from, this is the thing that should appear in my background, and these are the things that shouldn't appear in my background. Please make sure that nowadays on Zoom, on MS Meeting, people have started putting virtual background with balloons, and with the hot air balloons, with some landscape. Avoid that. Avoid putting any background when you're preparing for a virtual interview, because it is distracting at times. At times when you're holding something, it disappears because of the virtual background. Okay, so avoid doing that. Then don't sit very close like this, or don't sit very far that the employer you're not audible or you're not visible. You should just have, when it's supposing you're sitting on a table, and always please sit on a table and a chair. Never sit on bed, never sit on ground, or never just sit anywhere, sitting on a balcony. Take a chair, take a table, and sit on a chair and a table. Why? Your back will be straight, your posture will be correct, number one. And whenever you're sitting, please make sure that you have this distance between your laptop and yourself. So I will say this much. This much is all right. Yeah, this much is all right, right? Then please have an optimum eye contact. Optimum eye contact means that please look at the employer when you're talking. You will get to know. Right now, I know that whom I'm looking at. So don't look here, there, or at the camera, or your resume, or any document, because the employer will get to know. So you need to connect with the employer. You need to look at the employer. This is very important. Then please test your sound. The sound shouldn't be too loud and it shouldn't be too low. Please test your mic before sitting. Minimize the interruptions, as I've already told you, that please make sure that the volume of your your fan, your AC, any distracting voice shouldn't be here. Like before we just started this session, but my fan was making a lot of noise, and Sukriti was so kind to tell me that please switch off the fan because it is distracting. So please make sure that there's no distraction. Maintain right posture. I told you that already. And please make sure that you're engaged. The employer knows that you're engaged. How? Smile, keep nodding, okay? Keep saying yes, no, any gesture. any expression that makes the employer feel that you are engaged in the conversation. And make sure that all your answers are complete. Make sure, what do I mean by that? That if employer is saying anything, don't interrupt in between. Listen to them. If you are speaking anything, okay, please complete whatever you're speaking. Just don't leave it in between. This communication is all about clarity, it's all about completeness, and it's all about how courteous you are and how concise you are. So you need to communicate your things in virtual interview, which is very, very important. And here comes the role of communication skills. Now, one thing that yes,
One
Sukriti.
question before we go ahead. One of the things that's very difficult in a Zoom and when you're doing a digital interview or a virtual interview is you don't know when the person is really done and when you should start speaking. Can you give some tips? Like even between you and me, I'm like wondering, okay, how do I interrupt you if I have a question or I want to add something?
Oh yeah, this is something that very nice question, Sukriti. What happens when you're going for a virtual interview? First thing that you need to check is the expressions. Now you saw my expression, you thought that, and when the person takes a long pause, so just wait for that long pause to happen. Okay, if I'm saying something and I take a long pause and then I start, that means I've completed my sentence and now you can speak your sentence. Apart from that, you can just raise your hand and you can just say, excuse me. That is all right. Apart from that, whenever you think that you need to ask a question, please wait for the employer to complete his or her sentence. And you can always ask the questions at the end. It is not required that when employer is speaking you should, because at the end employer will ask you, do you have any questions for me? That is the time that you can come across with your questions.
Thank you.
So please make sure that these things happen. And one thing is that please, you should have a digital handshake. Like when I start my webinars, or when I say, so I always greet people like this. This is how I do my digital handshake. A digital handshake can be like this also. Hello. You know why? Because right now, whenever you give a digital handshake or whenever you are introducing yourself to someone, it is the most sweetest expression. Okay, so people at times you just sit like this, all anxious, all nervous, what will happen, what, and they forget and they just wait, when will the employer start putting questions and when will I start answering. And these are very minute things and these are very minor things that we ignore at times, but they're so important. A digital handshake. Apart from that, there are certain questions that employer asks you. So I'll tell you 5 questions that are very common and how you should answer them. Number one is, tell me something about yourself. Now, why do they want to hear this? That tell me something about yourself, even if they have your resume. The reason is because at that moment they're not judging who you are, but they want to know exactly what do you tell about yourself. They want to hear your story. They want to hear, if you say, I have a hobby of this, or I am a critical thinker. What did you do that you've written in your resume that you're a critical thinker? So please be mindful, whatever you are writing in your resume, you should have an explanation for that. Okay, so into how do you introduce yourself? So to introduce yourself, first always greet them, and it should be a formal greeting. It should be not hi, hello, what's up, what's happening, how's everything going on. No, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Then thank them for giving me this opportunity. Like, I want to thank you for giving me an opportunity to introduce myself. Then always tell your full name, never just your initial, the entire name. Then, where are you from? This is very, very important. People ignore it. Why it is important? Because at times you can get a job which is not in your hometown or where you're living right now. Okay, so it's very important because the employer will ask you, are you okay to relocate? So it's very important to tell where are you from. Then always start with your professional experience, your work experience. Once you're done with your work experience, in that also you will just tell what is the designation, which company you're working in, and since how many years you're working in that company. And never say I worked in this. Never use I in your resume also, and while you're giving interview you can just say worked in this as this since these many years. Okay. Apart from this, after your qualification, after your professional experience, tell about your education qualification, any course that you have done, anything additional educational qualifications. So these are certain things. And then your strength and your skills. Now remember one thing, that whenever you're applying for an interview and you get, there are skills mentioned in, whenever an employer posts any job, they will mention the skills. Make sure that you pick up 3-4 skills from there, and you should know those skills, you should not fake it. And then tell about those skills and strength which should match your job profile, and then close your introduction, that why should they hire you, what is there in you, and how can you add value in their company. Now, this is tell me something about yourself. The next tricky question employer asks you is tell me your weakness, and people are blank in this. Now, I'll tell you very simple trick to how to answer this question is, whenever you tell your weakness, never just tell it straight away that this is my weakness. I've seen people say, perfectionism is my weakness. Okay, I can't say no to someone. This is my weakness. They just go Google and they just speak. Now, how you should answer it is, first you will say that I cannot figure out if I have any specific weakness. However, then pick a weakness that is not related to your job profile, your skill, or will hamper your job. Okay, so please be mindful. Supposing if you're applying for a finance manager, you can always say that, I'm not very good when it comes in, when it comes in materializing my things or keeping my things properly. Okay. Or I am not able to just manage my times at times. However, I am working on it, and I am doing a course, or I've hired a mentor, or I have started writing journal, and I'm working on it, and it is no more my weakness, it was my weakness. So tell something that is not related to your job profile, any weakness that is not related to your job profile, and how are you working on that. Okay. So like if people say that, you can say that I am, if you are a sales consultant, you can say that my weakness is that whenever my colleague asks for help, I'm not able to say no, but however now I'm setting my boundaries, something like that, that will not hamper you. This is one question people often get confusing. After that, if there is the other question is, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? Now, where do you see yourself 5 years now? The one answer that most of the people I've heard, what they say is that I want to be an entrepreneur. Anybody wants to be something today or not, but they want to be entrepreneur. I don't know, everybody wants to be that. And they will say, I want to become like you, I want to open a company like you. So this is a big blunder. Never do that. Whenever they say, where do you see yourself 5 years from now, they are just saying that how focused you are, how career oriented you are, and how can you help the company in growing. This is what they are seeking for. If they will utilize their resources on you, how much will you return them back after 5 years, or after 2 years, or after 1 year, for the matter of fact? So these are some questions. Apart from that, one thing is, why should we hire you? Now, why should we hire you? Here, be very mindful that you tell your hard skills first. That what education you have done, which course you have done. These are your hard skills, your technical skills. Then tell relevant soft skills related to that job profile. Supposing you're applying for, again, finance manager profile, then you know that I'm very good in numbers, I'm very good in managing I'm very good in money management, I'm very good in interpersonal skills, I'm very good in savings, I'm very good in influencing people. So then tell your soft skills that are relevant to your hard skills. And apart from that, then tell some additional software or something that you know related to that job profile, which will stand you out from other people. So these are certain ways where you can tell them that why should they hire you. And apart from that, go and read the entire company's profile. I'm sorry I did not mention that before, but whenever you appear for an interview, please go to their website, check what does the company do, check what clients do they have, what services do they give, and see what value you can give them back. This is one thing. If you see a company where you think that, oh, this company is not using this software, however, if I know this software and I can tell that, I know this software and this software will save your time, will increase your productivity, will help you in your data analysis, the employer will not even think twice. So it is very important to go through the company's profile, check what they're doing, check their employer, your clients, and always go to the career page and see what all jobs opening they keep on looking for. And last and not the least, once your interview is over, please send them a thank you note. Please send them an email, thank you email, within 24 hours. Please never publicize that on social media, that I went to this interview and this happened and that happened. And please don't become too friendly with an employer. These are some mistakes that people often do. You just don't need to do anything. Once you're done with an interview, you just need to go home, you need to wait for your result, and you just need to write a thank you note to them. So this is all about virtual interviews. And I hope I was able to deliver some knowledge in a short span of time. I tried to cover each and everything that I could in this span of time. However, if you have any questions, I'm ready to answer.
So lots of questions coming in. One of the ones that quite a few people have asked, and I'll take it because quite a few people have asked it, is how do you explain a job gap?
Okay, so job gap can be anything. Job gap can be a sabbatical. Job gap can be that you didn't find your job, your relevant job. So if you've done any course at that time, you can tell that I did this course. And please never tell because of personal issues, because he was not well, my mother was not well, my dad was not well. No, never. Employer never listens to to your personal issue. Please tell them if you were on a sabbatical for a course or for any reason, number one. Number two, if you have a job gap, please tell them relevant reason. I tell you, Sukriti, I had a job gap when I started my entrepreneur journey. Was I met an accident and I was bedridden for 6 months. So this was relevant. When I was bedridden, I was not able to work. Okay, however, if you have done any freelancing job at that moment of time, you can tell your freelancing job, you can tell your course, you can tell if there was any issue while location, you can always tell that you got married or you got relocated. These are some relevant reasons. But yes, there is a job gap because you didn't want it to work, that I didn't want it to work, I was on a break, then tell them why were you on your break. Was there any mental stress going on? Was that you needed a break from your last employer because you wanted to find out which is the right job? But yes, the break should not be more than 3 to 4 months. If a break is of 6 years, 5 years, 3 years, then no employer will listen to your answer and you cannot justify your gap then, even if it is national or international job.
The next question we'll take from Shivani. Shivani, go ahead.
Mm, me?
No, sorry. Uh, there was another Shivani that is asking. Quite a few questions are coming up. Maybe I will just take them. Um, a lot of people want to know that if you're applying for a job as a fresher and you don't have any work experience,
Yeah.
how do you apply?
Oh, wonderful, Sukriti. And this is one of my posts that is coming up tomorrow. I've made a reel on it that if you're a fresher and you don't have any experience, firstly, what you should write in your resume, please write relevant. You can write your internships that you've done, you can write your scholarships that you've done, you can write your courses that you've done, number one. Then you can always mention MS Office or any software for that matter that you know. Apart from that, you can always tell the soft skills that you have, that I was a captain in my school, or I was a event manager, I used to manage my event in my school, because these shows your soft skill, these shows your influential skills, these shows your interpersonal skills. Okay, so even if you're a fresher, there are so many things, your award, your honors, anything that will make you stand out of crowd, you can always mention. these things. So you can mention your apart from your education, any awards, any project, any voluntary work, any you were hired as something, you've managed a team, you have solved a problem, you were working with an NGO, anything for that matter of fact, you can write as a fresher.
So we'll take the next question from Janvi. Janvi, go ahead.
Hello, ma'am.
Hi Janvi, how are you?
I'm good, ma'am. It's a lovely session, really helpful.
I'm so glad to hear that.
So I just wanted to know that currently I'm doing an MBA and I do not have any experience. So I have never sent out a resume. I want to know, should we keep it all detailed or it should be in points or just short forms?
All
How should we create that?
beautiful question, Janvi. Thank you for coming across this beautiful question. Yes, whenever it is resume is precise, concise, in points, in bullets. That's it. If you can just write one word instead of two lines, prefer writing one word, because the employer doesn't has time to go through your resume. They will just check bullets. See, humans have a very short retention span. We want to just finish off things as soon as possible. So nobody has time to just read and detail, and you think that if I'll write more in my resume, it'll create an impact, but it doesn't. The concise it is, to the point it is, has more chances to get shortlisted rather than an elaborative resume.
The next question we'll take from Nikita Ahuja. Go ahead.
Okay, hello, ma'am. It was a very informative and useful session. I have three small questions. The first question is how to negotiate salary smartly. If whatever they are offering, I want a little more than that. So, how to negotiate that? Second question is, should we include our photograph and house address in the resume? Is it relevant? And is it safe?
Okay.
And yeah, and the third question is, do teachers need to have an account on LinkedIn? Because teaching jobs are mainly appointed from the network and the circle. They are school principals are not going on LinkedIn for posting vacancies. So what, I want to know your view about that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nikita, if I'm not wrong, Nikita, for this wonderful question. First come negotiation skills, how to negotiate with salary. So whenever you're going for an interview, please do your homework. Check what is the salary that other employers are offering as per your profile, your experience. You can get them on Glassdoor, you can get them on LinkedIn. Please go through this. And when you are sitting across, first, the employer will always ask you what are your salary expectations. Let the employer quote first. You never start. Okay, because at times employer can give you high salary than your expectations, and you can lay your lower expectations. So let the employer say. If you think that is not appropriate, then please make them count what skills you have, how can you be an asset for that organization. And you can always say that I'm very sure that seeing these skills and seeing the how can I be an asset for an organization, I'm very sure that you will offer me something that is competitive in market right now. Okay, so please make them realize how important you are for them. Fine. Number one. Number two, you asked me, I think, about LinkedIn, right? That whether we should make a LinkedIn profile or not. So
As a teacher specifically.
as a teacher, so be it any profile, Nikita. So today you see, what am I doing? A trainer, teacher, coach. We all are from the same genre. Why do you need a LinkedIn profile, Nikita? Is so that you have your personal brand, number one. Number two, more people are able to reach you. At times it is not just some people are posting jobs and you're applying jobs. At times people are looking for people like you. So I have never applied on jobs that are posted on LinkedIn. People see my profile and they approach me that, I saw your profile and I found you and find your profile fit for this thing, and I really want to shortlist you for an interview. So LinkedIn is a must, no matter whatever your profile is, whatever you're doing right now. Even if you're a freelancer, even if you're in 11th standard right now and you're eligible, you know as per your age to make a LinkedIn account, you should. And there was one more question. I'm really sorry. It skipped out of my mind.
1 second. I'm asking her to unmute again so she can ask it.
Yeah, the third question was whether we should include our photograph and address in the resume.
Brilliant question, Nikita. Brilliant question. So now in 2021, there is no need to put your entire address. So if you live in Gurgaon, Haryana, just mention Gurgaon, Haryana, number one. Number two, second thing is photograph is not needed until and unless your job profile requires that photograph. If you are applying for a hotel industry, or if you're applying for a cabin crew, then your photograph is required. Why am I saying is because as soon as you post your photograph, okay, in some jobs people prejudge you on the basis of your photograph. Okay, after that it might happen that they shortlist you or they might reject you. So until and unless the employer asks you to please paste your photograph, or you should have, your photograph on your resume, then only, otherwise it's a big no. You shouldn't do that. And please don't mention your Aadhaar card number. I've seen people mentioning their Aadhaar card number, attaching their Aadhaar card, attaching their proof of certificates. Don't do that. Just if you're wherever you're living, Noida, UP, Gurgaon, Haryana, that is it. That's enough.
Well, last two questions. One quick one. What happens a lot of times the employer doesn't turn on their video, they don't turn that on. So it can be very distracting. The second is, how do you explain a career change?
Okay, so first is, if employer doesn't turn on their video, correct, then whom do you interact with? It happens a lot of time, and it happens at that moment of time you're very curious also whether it is a spam or it is a real interview that is going on, because it is all virtual. So if an employer is not switching on the camera and is not available, doesn't matter. You just keep on looking at the camera and think that you're talking to yourself, and just keep telling story to yourself. Don't get distracted, because at times the employer judge you with these little things. I tell you, Sukriti, at times what happens when I am hiring for my, so this is a image management, soft skill training, this is something that I'm doing out of passion. Before that, I'm an entrepreneur since 15 years, and I've been running my organization in Delhi. I have 2 offices in Delhi. Whenever I interview people, I deliberately make them sit for 3 hours doing nothing. Why? Because I check the patient's level. I check how needy are they for job. I check their body language. I check that are they anxious, are they ready to wait, so these are certain things that employer deliberately do at times to check how do you behave, and these things tell your behavioral aspect towards your job. So whenever you have an employer who have not switched on the camera, it doesn't matter, it is your time to speak to yourself. Use appropriate body language, think there's a mirror, and keep on talking. Like right now I am doing, I have 105 people, but I'm talking to myself.
So true, so true. And the next question was, how do you explain a career change? And then I will take your closing thoughts.
Yes, career change is very important. I have changed my career now, and when I changed my career, I had no clue how to explain this, so I can just understand how do people feel. So I did my medicine, and after doing my medicine I realized I'm not a person who can practice medicine. Then I did my MHA because I wanted to move into management. Then I did my master's in hospital administration. There I realized, no, I want to go into training, or I want to be I always aspired to be something, leading a team, a manager, something like that. Then I started my own. Then I met an accident, I told you, and I was on bed for 6 months. And during those 6 months, whatever saving I had, when I got up, I was back on my feet. I opened my own organization. And then I realized when people used to come, then I realized that I was not following my passion. My passion was to lead a team. My passion was to become a leader. My passion was to manage things. My passion, I want to serve people where I can grow people, where I can make people confident, right? So this was the courage. And so whenever you change your career, please make sure that you're not just changing because of the trend that is going on. So right now, if image management is trend, and you see, oh my god, she is an image consultant, she's earning in lakhs, I should just switch, just switch my career, because even I'll do that, because that will not work out for you. Okay, so please make sure that you're very passionate about that particular job. Second thing is, whenever somebody asks you for your career change, please tell your soft skills. Why did you change? I am telling my soft skills here today. Why I'm not a doctor anymore. And I don't tell this to people because people come with medical prescription and I'm clueless because it's been 15 years. I have no idea except paracetamol and what are nerves and bones in our body, right? So whenever they ask you why did you change your career, please make them count all the soft skills. That I was very influential. I was a pup. I was a people's manager. I was very good when it came to goal setting. I was this. Those skills which are matching your current job that you're applying for. Don't tell them your hard skills. So imagine hard skills is what you do, what you study, and what you always thinking about that I should get 90%, 80%. But when it is interview, all things, everything that matters is your soft skill. So imagine a exam like UPSC, one of the toughest exam in the world. You clear that exam, you clear mains, you clear preliminaries. Then also they ask you to come for an interview. Why? Because they want to check your soft skills, and they accept you and reject you within that hour. And they don't realize that you were working for this exam and you were studying for this exam since years. So just imagine and just realize the power of soft skills. So whenever you have a career change, just mention your soft skills. What soft skills do you possess right now that are fit for this job profile? Because right now employer are seeking for 80% of your soft skills and 20% of your hard skills.
Well, Shivani, that was a very, very quick hour. Any closing tips as we end this session for today? Because most of you may not know it, but she works till 8:30 every single day. So she's a very, very busy woman. And a lot of people have asked lots of questions, and Shivani has been very kind. I've put her Instagram. Please do DM her. We'll try to get all the questions answered. You can also put it on our Facebook page. We'll send it to Shivani to get all your questions answered, as many as we can. And I'm sure she'll make a couple of reels of some of the questions that we're asking here.
I have 100 lined up in my phone. I'll be putting across. So firstly, I just want to express my gratitude to you, Sukriti, Sipping Thought, and Tina ma'am, who gave me a chance to speak on this platform. Because I've been following this Sipping Thought handle since a long time, and I've realized that how much value you put into somebody's life and to everybody here. So I'm so humbled, and I want to express my gratitude, number one. And I want to thank each and every one. 94, 93, how many people are still left who who gave their valuable time listening to me. And apart from that, one closing tip that I want to give is that no matter whatever time is right now your health is important more than your job and more than your career. So please first take care of your health. Number one, health is wealth. Now we realize this. And it's not a cliche. And number two, whenever you are applying for a job, please don't just randomly apply for your job. At least five, if when an employer, post a job, they mention skills. At least 60% of the job duties should mention your current job duties, and at least 5 skills should mention your current skills. So please, whenever you're applying for a job, look for a job nicely, take a printout of that job, that has been posted, verify whether you are able to apply for this job or not, and then only apply for the job. And don't get disheartened. Everybody is just struggling to survive here now in our country, and you're blessed that we are safe, sound, and we are still looking for job and not for each and every single breath right now. So this will pass, and each and everyone will get your dream job. If you have any doubt, if you have anything, I'm there to help you. You can get in touch with me. And I'm so glad and so thankful to you, Sukriti, that, for bringing me to this platform and making me speak to such wonderful people and audience here.
We are so humbled that you are with us today, and I thank all of you for joining us. And I know we are expecting a big storm in Delhi NCR, so please stay safe. Please stay home, and this too shall pass. I also remember a quote: 6 months, 1 year is very, very small time when we think of the journey of life. So, with that, I end the session for today.
Thank you so much, and thank you all of you for joining this session. Thank you so much, Sukriti. May I take a leave, Sukriti?
Yes, yes.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so much.
so much, Shivani.
Thank you so much.